Is the European Union democratic?
No, I think even the European Union would not go as far as saying that about themselves. I mean, this has been a long debate in the European Union about the so-called democratic deficits of the European Union. And in fact, one of the long-standing debates in the enlargement, and not just the enlargement process, but in the EU overall development, has been this question of how to fix its democratic deficits, because the idea is that you have functional integration, that countries do certain things together, but you don't really have democratic accountability. I mean, we have a European Parliament, which is in the balance of European institutions, now increasingly more included and more represented, but for a while was completely marginal, didn't really matter because the decisions were made by the Council and by the Commission. And there you don't have a lot of kind of democratic.
Like this, right?
But it's changed a bit. I mean, yes, it's absolutely, it's mainly like that. And of course, yeah, there is no sense of, you don't have really parties that run on unified platforms, or so there's a sense in which European politics and national politics interfere with each other and interact in ways that are problematic. But just to your initial question about is the EU democratic, I don't think even the EU itself has ever thought of itself as democratic, but it was always considered to be a problem.
I was wondering, like, maybe this European democratic deficit is not a bug, but a feature.
Oh, you mean it's a feature for them then?
Yes, of course.
Okay, I see. Yeah, right. I thought you said the feature for people who care about democracy and care about democratizing the EU. Yeah. Although I think even they now understand that this institution, as it is so vulnerable that it can be kind of taken over by all sides. And it's only driven in the way in which certain market interests, for example, want it to be driven if there is no contestation of the market in those terms. And so if you're in the moment of expansion of globalization and of commercial development, and this idea that I think you're right is entrenched in the EU treaties about the free market, the EU as a free market institution, and that develops a free market and with very little by way of limits to the free market. When there is that driving forward, it's, yes, I think you're right, it could be considered a feature. When globalization begins to derail, then you have more than nation states, each of which begins to emerge as its own unit and wants to do its own interests. And then it becomes really hard, and the project becomes derailed by the member nation states, as it I think is what's been happening already with Brexit, but then also you can see it with the inherent fragmentary tendencies within the EU.